Live. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Today we have another crazy rider, another one wheeler, but I think he loves all type of sports and he's going to talk a little more with us. And he's in a fantastic group in USA. First of all, hello, Max. Thank you for coming.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me.
It is a pleasure to have here good riders and guys who know what they are doing. First of all, I would like you to present yourself to everyone who don't know you or maybe don't know. Tell us a little of your background. How you started? If you start electric, if you tell us a little more about you for everybody to know it.
Of course. So, for starters, my name is Maximilian Oscar von Kurthausen. I am originally from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I've been out in the PNW for about 4 or 5 years now. I originally started off with skateboarding. I got about 22 years of experience in that, so a lot of that transfers over really well into the PEV culture. I was pretty much the same as most others. I started seeing these one wheel ads pop up, and I thought to myself, like, that sounds like the coolest thing that I could do. I used to live out in the countryside, so I was 30 minutes from civilization, and I wanted something to kind of occupy myself, give me something to do on the trails that we have all throughout Arkansas, as I'm sure some of you know. And I just decided
For
to bite the
us,
bullet, picked it up. I also bought a electric skateboard at the exact same time. It's right behind me, but you can't really see it too well. And I just took to it like a duck to water. Uh, it was a classic case of everything that I wanted it to be was exactly that. And so now I've been out here in the PNW, as I said, for about 4 or 5 years. I met up with these guys, Float NLC, right here. And we've just been elevating each other, boosting each other's riding skills up, and just trying to have a lot of fun with one wheel, EUC, e skate, e bike, scooters, you name it.
uh, in this time that you are riding, and all this time, how do you see the evolution of the PVs?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, even such a short period of time, because I don't consider myself to be a front runner. I didn't have a one wheel plus. I wasn't one of those guys that had one of the early edition EUCs, and I only heard about boosted when they were basically on their death throes, making their way
Mm-hmm.
down. So the evolution in just a short period of time that I've been writing is insane. I mean, you have new technology within EUC that makes it much safer. The dynamic pedal dip that they have, and other things that prevent it from doing just your failure reactions. One wheel is upgraded in so many ways with the inclusion of aftermarket float plates, tires. Vesk being one of the biggest
Evolutions, yeah.
evolutions that we've had recently, including
If
the rewheel.
Max, maybe the evolution for the one wheel is now the evolution uh, uh, for the one wheel as the Vesk, yes, but for the skateboards and everything, that is a long time. If you see Benjamin, he started to make for machines and everything, and then put it that free for the skateboards. Mountain boards was the beginning, and then came for
Exactly.
the skateboards, and now we are seeing in the one wheels, and it's going to change everything for all of us.
Yeah, and we're seeing it in you know pretty much live every single day with new one wheel competitors coming forward, such as Float Wheel, and people that are really trying to change the paradigm, such as with the Rewheel for the GT and the Pine X. It's just
Hmm.
really impressive to me that we have such a focused um, group of individuals in all sectors of the PEVs, one wheel, EUC, e-skate, that are so willing to put their time to elevate this.
Hmm.
It's amazing to see, and we're every day on Facebook, every day on Instagram, we're getting to see it right here, right now. It's just mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I think what you are saying is you know what you are talking about. That is first of all is very important for us to know what we are talking about. And but for the time you have writing here, this my friend, you are very good. Just let's go here for something before we continue for you to say, because I think he's very nice. Look what this
Yeah.
guy is doing, huh? For everybody to understand, the group from these guys, they can do most of the electro devices. They can ride it, and I have the pleasure to interview another person from the crew that he was here, and then came. Then I contact Max to come here too, and I was seeing doing the stuff that you are doing, my friend, is not easy. It's not easy. How many times do you train, or how many times do you ride your one wheel in a week?
So it's odd because with us living in the PNW, I'd love to say that I'm out there every single day grinding away, trying to get better. I love that photo with Kyle going crazy in the
Yeah,
background. Trying to
and
get better, trying to, really elevate what we got going on. But
this is
honestly,
fantastic.
I love that photo, and especially the next one. I mean, Kyle
An
Hansen's
important thing, you have a guy direct for you that is a very good rider and he's a fantastic person. Huh? I have the pleasure to interview him, and he's always happy. He's always,
always happy.
yeah, yeah.
They don't call him Elgato for nothing, that's for sure. But
And he's doing a lot to the community too, my
very
friend.
much so.
Him and
But
his girlfriend.
back to my point
Yeah.
of I'd love to say that I ride a lot, but sometimes we're rained out for weeks on end. So what we'll do is we'll really try to get into parking garages, covered areas where we can just practice some different skills. One example, before this season, and maybe just a couple months back, I didn't have the ability to do some of the tricks that I'm really focused on now, such as like front side tail slides,
Hmm.
backside, nudge popovers after slides, things of that nature. None of that really occurred to me up until we really started getting our nose to the grindstone and just working. And it's just great to see that one wheel as a freestyle sport has a
Hmm.
lot more potential than we ever thought it would from the get go. I mean, just to take an example, like when people started doing nudges and bonks, it was completely out of the question.
Yeah.
And I love that you go for this video. This is
Hmm.
actually my NBD to contribute.
Yeah.
So that's a half cab nudge at our local park, Ed Benedict. Uh, and as far as I can tell, I haven't seen anybody else really attempt anything quite like it
Hmm.
since. I'd love to see somebody come and show me up, but hey, that's
You're
competition for you,
starting the
folks.
competition,
Oh
guys.
yeah, oh yeah,
Do you
for
have the
sure.
pleasure, like the guys from skateboards and the guys from bikes, when you make a new trick to uh, create your name and put your name for what you have done?
So I personally am not a big fan of doing that. I understand if it's innovative enough that yes, for certain, you should. You should
Brunello.
definitely put a name against it, such as the gentleman that you interviewed earlier in the month,
Hmm.
Scott Stringer, part of Flow NLC. He has a trick that he invented called the margarita nudge, which
Hmm.
is this little action where you do a hop, you're able to stomp the front foot pad, make it bonk on its own, and then jump back on.
Hmm.
Nobody else has done it. But for me, I like to treat it as regular skateboarding. There
Okay.
is a name for the trick already. We just have iterations on it.
Hmm.
When you start trying to put names against things, it gets complicated.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think too. And for you, my friend, seeing how do you doing? Where do you get your experience? How can I put it? Are you inspired because of your team? The guys is riding all the time with you, or you are a guy who trains alone? How is everything? How is your journey with that? You
So
do?
I'll give you a bit of a story for this one because
Hmm.
I think it requires a little bit of context.
Yes, please.
So, as I said, I started riding out in Arkansas, in the backcountry, basically. We had some good trails here and there, but I didn't personally ride trails. I didn't. I was a little bit scared. The first time I ever stepped on a one wheel, I nosedived because I knew pushback was a thing, and I ignored it. And I said, "Oh, that's just a part of it." Scraped up my hands, all that fun stuff. I've been
Me too,
skating
my
for years.
friend.
Yeah, exactly. I've been skateboarding for years. It's no big deal. But I didn't have anybody to ride with. I didn't have a single soul other than myself that I knew owned a one wheel, and none of my neighbors knew what it was. None of my friends knew what it was. I was the only one that I knew of in the city that rode one. Maybe that wasn't true, but you're living on an island basically. So when I first got out to Portland, which is where I'm at now, uh, it's kind of the same story. Coronavirus had just hit.
Yeah.
I went about a year or so living here, not riding with anybody, and I decided I was tired of it. I wanted to get out. I wanted to go on some of these group rides that we have. The Friday night ride, the FNR that's hosted in Portland every Friday at 7 o'clock,
Hmm.
and just kind of meet people. And it's only at that point when I started riding with others that I realized that there's a lot more to this than just going in a straight line.
Yeah.
There's a lot more than just carving back and forth. There's tricks that you can do. There's elevations that you can get to. There's a lot more to see out in the world that you can treat as a feature, as you can treat as a ramp or something that has potential. And specifically, when I noticed a guy on the ride had a specific tattoo that I was aware of, Mr. Chris Hughes, the
Hmm.
real white tee on Instagram, that we just hit it off immediately. And then he wanted to ride with me some more. And after all of that, I got to meet all of the key key players
Hmm.
in freestyle one wheel that live in Portland, and it really inspired me to think and say, this is time for me to take what I've known in skateboarding for 20 plus years and
Hmm.
start transferring it over. So stuff like the tail grab that you were showing
Hmm.
earlier, backside 180s, frontside 180s, attempting to do flip tricks, it's all possible. It's just that you have to be around a group of supporting individuals that want to lift you up and give you the inspiration to do it. So to bring it back to the point, yes, inspiration from the people that I ride with every single day. I wouldn't be able to do it without them, and I've told them that to their face multiple times. I couldn't see my one wheel career going in the way that it has if it wasn't for their efforts and their support.
But don't you think that you having a background of skating has helped you a lot?
It does, but it's not quite one to one. So, having a background in skateboarding helps you understand fall mechanics.
Hmm.
We all have gotten hurt falling down. I
Yeah.
know I have. I actually have multiple jammed fingers right now because of it. Uh, just
you,
did this
you, you,
yesterday.
you just
Uh,
have to look to this picture.
that's what I'm saying.
To look to your finger.
Exactly. Yeah, I have the brace on there because if I don't wear it and I fall on it, well, bye bye finger. I'll see you next
Yeah.
year. Um, Yes, so it does help. But you could say that about any kind of action sport. Say that you are a snowboarder.
Hmm.
You grew up on the mountain. One wheel is basically a one to one. You get on one of these things. Of course, you're all strapped in, and it's a little bit more rigid. But the feeling of carving on that and carving on some perfectly like rounded road surfaces is damn near identical. So what I'll say is skateboarding definitely helped me along on that, but I wouldn't accredit it to everything. Just because you know exactly how it is.
Hmm.
Like you can say, oh, you can hop on skis, you can hop on an EUC. That is not the case.
Yes, but for you, what you think from the sports that you made, what you think is close to the one wheel?
Honestly, when I
Yeah.
first started riding, I thought it was wakeboarding.
Okay.
Where you have the bar in front of
Hmm.
you, you're
Yeah.
getting pulled. It's got that feeling of resistance, but
Hmm.
each time that you tilt, it kind of pushes you in the direction that you want.
Hmm.
The problem with it though is with one wheel, it feels like it's pushing you from the back, almost like you're kind of getting pushed by a current. So it's really a unique experience. I always tell anybody that's getting started, if you know how to skateboard, you'll pick onto it immediately. But if
Hmm.
you've done multiple things, water sports, snow sports, and skateboarding and such, oh, it's you're in it to win it. You'll jump to it and be perfectly fine from the first couple of minutes.
I was 2 days. Not now that you are talking about it. 2 days we was in a ride with friends, and was two guys running in. We was off road, and one of the guys say, "What is that?" I said, "That is a one wheel. Do you want to try it?" And the guy tell us, "Yeah, I never see that. Can I try it?" And the guy was fantastic riding.
Oh yeah.
For the first time he
Oh
touched it,
yeah.
and you see direct the position, how he stands in the one wheel, that the guy has a background and he knows
Right.
what he's talking about. And I think that is sometimes is important for us to have maybe a background of other sports, a
Yes. And
balanced sports, for
yeah,
you
and
to
I
know.
agree 1,000% with that. But I don't want to say that if you haven't had any background, that it will hamper you. We have many people that come on the Friday night
Hmm.
ride, and we're always very welcoming to the beginners. In fact, Float NLC on the Portland Friday night ride are treated as ambassadors. We want to go and talk to the new people. We want to see where they're at on their skill level. We want to see how comfortable they are. That way, everybody in our community can feel as welcomed as possible. And sometimes they're brand spanking new. Oh, I
Hmm.
bought my one wheel Pint X 2 weeks ago. My mom got it for me for my birthday. That is the best thing in the world that somebody could tell me, because what we'll do,
It's
we'll
kaput.
slow down. We'll ride with you.
I just want to
We'll
show
figure
you.
it
You
out.
can continue. That is the
That's
guy
what
the
I'm
first
saying.
time.
Like right there. Look at him. She's just getting after
That
it.
was
Maybe
the first time he touched, my friend. I was impressed. Everybody of us was
amazing.
impressed to see how, for the first time, and he was running, and he just say, "Okay, I'm going to try it."
Yeah, maybe he doesn't trust it 100%, but like he has all the mechanics down. You bend your knees, you lean over with that shoulder, and you let it happen.
And
It's
I
great.
think what you are saying is true. A background is good, but you can do it when you don't have no background of riding.
Exactly. Exactly.
You
But
just have
one
to
thing,
trust yourself.
exactly. One thing though, I do want to, kind of shift towards that
Hmm.
topic. One wheel, I think, is a lot easier to pick up, get onto, and understand the mechanics of over EUC
How
and
you see is
even
the
E-skate.
AUC is the terrible of all of them, I think.
It definitely has the sharpest learning curve of any of the vehicles that you can get on. Scooters, not a problem. Everybody's ridden a scooter. If you've ridden a bicycle, it's not too much different than it. It's all about keeping your balance and keeping going. I will say, though, and I might get a little bit of hate for this, I do not like scooters at all.
So then we are
You can't
two, my
see it,
friend.
but the people that are watching this that know the behind story know that I have a scar right here that is from a prototype that climbed up a wall and hit me in the head. I do not like scooters.
So I have a good friends. They ride scooters, and I don't have nothing, but it's something I don't like it, and I don't use it.
Yeah.
I have a bike here to the 73, and that is my
Mm.
wife who ride it. It's not for my style of. I don't like it. I
I
don't
do
know.
love those Super 73s though.
Yeah,
They're
but
choppers. They're great.
yeah, but for me, I don't know. I prefer to go to a skateboard. Now I'm riding AUCs. I love my one wheel, and I think for you, you as a rider, you know all of the devices.
Yes.
You cannot compare. Is all of them is different to ride.
Okay, so
Differences.
you're broaching into a topic that I am very very passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
One of the secrets that doesn't really get talked about too much is on Float NLC. I wasn't originally brought on as their one wheel rider. I'm
Mm-hmm.
technically their e-skate rider, because I have skateboarding experience
Uh huh.
and I have a couple of e-skates. But you are 100% correct with that. You cannot compare them because they accomplish different goals. I
Mm-hmm.
have an EUC sitting over there. I have a one wheel there, one wheel up in my atrium up there,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have the e-skate behind me. But I ride them all with different purposes in mind. The EUC hitch jumps. It's great for commuting. It
Mm-hmm.
can get me from point A to point B quickly and safely. The one wheel gives me a completely different feeling of satisfaction because I can do tricks on it. I can get out there. I can look at a feature like a highway divider that has a good slope on it and know that I could get a 360 off of that. That's what I'm going to do next week. I'm going to get some clips of that. And then the e-skate is just, yeah, perfect. The e-skate is all about, going fast and getting some drifts going on, and it's got the very raw, visceral feeling to it. it's just got this uniqueness to it, and it's just all about riding
He
everything.
has the
That's my
73.
e-bike right there. So I'll splinter off on a conversation. That bike cost me nothing, goes faster than the Super 73, and it's held together by duct tape. It is unlocked to 32 miles an hour, and I have to pedal it, or else I'll lose all my battery. There's
That is your
Boyd,
good
of
friends,
course.
huh?
Yeah, yeah, that's the gang right there. You got Scott Stringer, you got the
Yeah.
real Matt Mitchell.
He was
Love him.
here. That was a nice, very nice interview.
Oh yeah, of course,
That
of
was very
course.
good. And it's good. It's good to have good friends to ride and to love the same thing. I
Yeah,
think is
and
important.
actually, before you change the photo, go back
Yeah,
one
sorry.
for me real quick.
Yeah, give me a
To that
second.
previous photo. I love talking about that one.
Yeah, yeah, please.
So it's a really good example of the float NLC way. Go to the next photo for me, please. Okay, so you got one back, and
Okay.
that's another one of our dudes, Josh. Love that guy. This photo right here, I think, is a really good example of the float NLC way. So I'm right there, the blur that you can barely see. We
This.
have Chris Hughes right behind me on my e-bike, and then you have Scott Stringer that you interviewed to my left.
Yeah.
We're always racing. We're always getting up to some light hooliganism, trying to have as much fun as we possibly can because you can ride. You can go around and have a nice little relaxing ride. But you know what's a lot more fun than relaxing? Racing your friends and seeing who can go to the point A, point B fastest without dying, you know? And
It's
it's
like
just
it's just a challenge for you
it's a
guys.
challenge and it's fun and it just we ride one wheel because it's adrenaline.
Uh
It
huh.
makes all of the things that you're thinking about in your day-to-day life. Oh, I got to pay my bills. Oh, I got to put gas in my car. When you're going fast, when you're hitting a jump on an EUC, when you're slinging around a corner on an e-skate at 35 miles an hour, you don't think about those things. All you think about is I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna get out of this corner. I'm gonna land that jump. I'm gonna land this trick. Everything's gonna be perfectly okay. We're gonna have a good time, and that is it. You don't think about food. You don't think about drinking water. You don't think about anything. You are just there in the moment. That's what we ride for.
Yeah, you are describing like I described. Sometimes it's difficult for me to explain when the people, friends for me, they love skateboards or they love AUCs, and they just have this type of sport. They don't do it another other sport. It's
Exactly.
difficult when you tell that you try to explain. They say, "Why you ride the one wheel?" And I say, "One wheel is don't have nothing to do with the other things. I
No,
cannot describe every time I go with my one wheel. I just want to be have fun, enjoy it. That is not a speed machine. That is a thing that I can do crazy stuff, and
exactly.
uh, and then when I go with my UC is top speed, go to the city, maybe make some jumps with my AUC. I cannot do that, but there is other AUCs that I know, like Ralph is here and he jumps a lot. You guys jump a lot, and I'm a heavy guy, not so much. But I have another feeling with my AUC when I come with my
Yeah,
skateboard, and I think that is what the people don't understand, and that's
exactly.
why I love you guys because you guys ride everything. That's what I.
Yes, very much so, and I agree. Like you can try to compare the feelings, or you can try to compare the technical aspects. EUC and One Wheel both share the same form factor, albeit one is facing skateboard, other is facing ski. But I always preach diversity to every single One Wheel rider and EUC rider. Of you should try to get the most out of life. And yes, you see Lindbergh. I don't think when I ride. I don't either. Ain't
Yeah.
nothing in my head. I am blank thoughts. I'm just there in the moment. But you're just kind of there. You're there for every moment, and you shouldn't ever detract from your own life because you have a uh, premonition against another PEV. It's
Yeah.
just for you to enjoy absolutely everything. A perfect analogy in my mind: are you a person that only eats hamburgers or a person that only eats hot dogs? No, you eat both of them. You're gonna diversify your food every single day, and you're going to, try to. have everything in your life. Why
Hmm.
wouldn't you do that with PEVs?
Yeah. Uh, like me, I tell like this. I think we need always people to inspire us. I thank you guys. You told me in the beginning, you start alone. Was not how do you see it today? With you have so a nice group of friends to write, to make videos, to work together, create stuff for all of us first to see, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe to try it later on. And I think that is what is the beautiful of this community is everybody's trying to get better and prove to the other ones that we can do it better, and the other ones from
Exactly.
the other side they're going to try to do another thing, and that the competition is fantastic to see.
Exactly.
And then we see a picture with you jumping and the guy from the other place just taking a picture and smiling and enjoying what you are doing, and that
Having
is
a
the
great time.
beautiful of that. Eh?
Yeah, and that's another thing that I'm quite passionate about is we're not trying to make a exclusive community. There's a lot of different people that could do that, but we want to be inclusive. We
Yeah.
want to be able for somebody to see me do that at Race at the Ranch a couple of years back, and we want them to think I can do that. That's something that I want to do, and I want to get to that point. Yeah, I didn't want to get my shirt wet because it's the only shirt I got to rip that thing off. But that's it's stuff like that. Like I hadn't really done anything like that before, and I get inspired by Tommy Rock right there, Max
Hmm.
Bowles, and I just I want to level up, and I want others to level up. I want people to see the opportunities that they can reach out and grasp on their own, and realize like I'm just a normal guy. Yeah, I've been skateboarding for a lot of years, and I know how to fall, but that doesn't mean like I'm all of a sudden some superhuman. I'm just like anybody else. I just enjoy trying to push myself and make silly videos with my
Uh-huh.
friends.
I'm going to ask you something. What
Certainly.
type of tire? First of all, I know that you like tricks, but I see that you ride off road. What type of tire do you prefer? You as a rider, and
So
inclusive. I'm going to put it together. I see that you ride a lot the XR. Do
yes.
you think it's difficult with the GT to do the same thing because of why? How do you see it?
So and I don't think it's too much of a hot take anymore. I'm not the biggest fan of the GT. It doesn't really suit my riding style, and I think that the stock tire that came with the GT was a pretty bad excuse for a tire. But I won't delve too much deeper into that. But
That
I
was
run
not an
Vegas.
excuse. That was just for nobody to have it.
Exactly. It was just kind of you had a off the shelf go kart tire on the XR, and they should have stuck with that. They should have gone with a just a plain tire that you can get anywhere at any go kart shop. And for me, I I like to stick with the simple. I am still a purebred Vega lover. I love the stock wheel that comes on the XR because it doesn't have that much grip. It can get you through trails. It can do a whole number of things for you, and you get used to it. I've ridden
That
Enduros, I've
mean
ridden T2s, I've ridden Hoosiers. I've been on every single wheel, and I always come back to it.
that means you prefer in off road to use the slick tire,
Yes,
like me. Sometimes the
exactly.
people don't understand. Most of the people tell me, why don't you use the off road tires? And
Yeah, the
I.
trail.
I have the Vega. I was trying now the other one, the 5.5 from Uziel. What's the name?
Hoosier. Yep.
Yeah,
Hoosier.
yeah, Uziel. And I love it. And sometimes
Yeah.
the people say, "Hey, you're going to go off road with the slick tire," and I say, "I feel good."
I mean, it is the one big distinction that needs to be made. So it's a go kart tire. It has a very wide contact patch, no matter which wheel you look at, and you can control that with your PSI. I
Yeah.
personally run at 31 because I do trick riding. I need something that's a little bit more stable. So when I land, I come down on bolts, which is
Yeah.
where you don't lean either side. You're just coming straight down on the wheel. But because you have that control and you can deflate, you can be on a slick in mud, in water, on the trails, and it'll be fine because you have so much wheel touching the ground. Now in EUC, that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You hit slick mud on a slick tire, oh, you're done for. You're gone. You're on the ground. You're gonna look back at your wheel and try to think, how am I gonna get back on that thing?
Yeah, you have to decide that, or you're going to ride street or you're going to go off-road. I have an off-road tire in my AUC because I ride more off-road than in a city. Why?
And I'm the same way. Yeah. Yeah.
Why? But because I live not in a city, I live in a small village in mountains, and the other thing is because here is illegal to ride.
So you have to ride on either public land or private. Where nobody
Yes,
sees you.
yes. We are always we are always going to places that nobody can see us. But
Exactly.
continue here with you, my friend. How do you guys meet, and tell us a little more about? We're going to change here. Tell us a little more about the group from you guys. For everybody's out there, where comes this group? Where from? Which city? How can the guys reach you, and to go for a ride or to see, because you guys make so much. I know that you create lots of things.
Yeah, we definitely create a lot of different things.
Yeah. And
Float NLC's origin story is started in Portland, Oregon, of course, with a couple of gentlemen that are in this photo, namely Scott Stringer and Chris Hughes. They were both in a situation where they were on COVID leave, they had disability, they had different reasons for not having the ability to work. And what that led to is they both had one wheels, they both started meeting up, and they just started riding. Pretty small rides, just a couple of them. But then eventually they had the idea that they wanted to bring this into something a little bit bigger. Chris Hughes came up with the idea for Float NLC. Scott Stringer made the logo because he is a fantastic artist, has a huge portfolio of hand-drawn logos and all different sorts of things that he's worked on. I mean, this logo that I hope everybody's learning is, his creation. And it all just kind of started splintering off from there. But if you would like to meet us, we're trying our hardest this year to get to every single festival that's going on. We're going to be at Oak City Shred Fest. We're going to be at Seek and Shred. We're, of course, hosting our Northwest Electric Fest in Eugene, Oregon. Which
I have here the link, guys, if you want it.
Of course.
I have the link here, and I have the link down here, guys. If you go to the Now is the Life, you go there, and you're going to have all the links from them. First of them is from Max, and then from all of you, and then I think is this one.
That's Northwest Electric Fest. Yep, that's the one.
Yes, my friend, is the link there. You can go there. All the links are there, and then you can read and see, and then you can go to the event and enjoy it.
Cool. And what I would say for that is, of course, look at the event page. Get your ticket if you'd like to race. It's a ton of fun. You can be in the amateur. You can be in the pro. You can be the masters if you're an older gentleman. But it's great fun. But definitely check out the Instagram. Check out some of the different videos that we posted so you can get a better idea.
This is the last one.
Yes, this is the last one. And this is an important thing to...
This guy's good.
Yeah, Shibby Time, Mr. Michael Leahy. I believe it's only audio, but what he's talking about is please come out to Northwest Electric Fest, and we're having a location change. Originally, we were at Elijah Bristow Park, but now we're going to be at Cresswell Park. I probably got that name wrong, but it's all listed there. Yeah, it's in Cresswell, Oregon, at Lynx Hollow Park. A bit of a bummer that we had to move, but let me give everybody a promise that is going to the event. This is a better location. We're going to have a lot more options as to what we're able to do, and y'all are going to love it.
So, guys, it's another good festival in USA, and I think it's just asking from the event. Is just going to be a one-wheel event dedicated, or is going to be a mix?
It's a mix. We always do mix.
Okay.
If it's a Float NLC event, you best believe it's not going to be one wheel only.
Yes, I'm just telling this for the people to understand, because most of the people is always asking, can I go with this device or this device, and is this event, and I think is good for us, and we see here you guys don't have just just one wheels. You have a lot of
Exactly. We
devices.
have EUCs, we have scooters. What I'll say for Northwest Electric Fest is yes, I love it. The event is geared towards one wheel and EUC. E-bikes are allowed, but
Hmm.
because of the nature of the trails, they're not going to be quite as friendly. E-skate is another story. Yet again, yes, you can bring out your e-skate, make sure that it's an all-terrain board, but you might not have the best of a time on it. If you have other vehicles, please go ahead and bring them out, but just be aware that because of the nature of trail riding and where we have to do our festivals, we haven't been able to make it a all inclusive every single PE event yet. We are
Uh-huh.
going to. We're getting there. We already have some stuff in the works with some big sponsors, and we're planning on having some stuff later on this year that'll really highlight what we're looking for.
I think that is fantastic, my friend. I love to see events that we can mix, and I think that is the right way for you guys to do it. Not of one time everything. I think you have to go step by step. That the organization is perfect.
Yes, exactly. Organization is perfect, and everything is respected and given the absolute best stage it can
This
perform on.
is fantastic. I love
I
this
love
video.
this video so
I
much.
love this video. I think
And
this
this is
video
it.
is.
This is our way. There is no
Uh-huh.
reason to exclude
But I
or
love the guys
include
falling.
anything. Damn it, Jackson.
Yeah, that is perfect.
He
The
kept on having
synchrony is
problems.
perfect. That is.
It's
Oh,
great. And we look, the secret to this, 7 takes.
uh-huh.
Took us a bunch of tries to make that happen.
You have to make the video with the trying. That is always the best one.
Exactly.
And I
Exactly.
think it's fantastic for you to mix everything and show that I see lots of kids that you have there.
Yeah.
Ladies are coming more and more every day,
Yeah,
and
and so it's great that you mentioned that, and I'll say it publicly. I love all of the adult riders that we have. They're super sick. They're pushing the game. They're making some stuff happen. What gets me more excited than any of that is the young riders that can
uh-huh.
ride faster than me, that can ride more aggressive than me, that are just absolutely insane on what they're pushing on the board, and they don't even know it. They don't
Hmm.
know how special what they're doing is because this is normal to them. This is brand new. I mean, Douglas Marshall there, right there, riding a chair with an EUC. That hasn't been done before. Nobody's thought I'm gonna
I
do
have the
this
pleasure to interview
that.
Douglas, and Douglas is a fantastic guy.
That's
And
what I'm saying. He's such a driven individual. I
yeah.
love hanging out with that guy.
And
But
if you
it's
guys
just
have the chance, go see the videos that they make. They make good explanation for the AUCs. They are very. They have all the types of PVs there to sell, and they race very well. And I think it's a fantastic group. And the
yeah,
YouTube channel
yeah. Check
has
out
lots
Rev
of
Rides.
inspiration. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they are
Rev Rides is
fantastic.
the way to go.
Yeah, and
And
this
this
is
is
what
what
I
I'm talking
love.
about. So this is OW Hard AF's kid, Ezra. He is only, and he's going to correct me on this, I believe he's only 6.
Uh-huh.
And he's already doing stuff that grown people wouldn't
I
attempt.
don't do it.
What I'm
So you
saying,
have you have me. I don't do it.
it's so impressive to me because he hasn't he hasn't learned that life can beat you down quite yet, and he doesn't know that what he's doing is scary. To answer EUC Limburg, is EUC midlife crisis? No, it's a crisis at all times. Doesn't matter how old you are.
If you see, he's a crazy guy riding, my friend. He rides
Exactly.
he rides AUCs, and believe it, this
He
guy
trusts in a
is.
battery and a single wheel and says,
Yeah,
"Ha
he has the
see you
same one.
later."
He has the S22, and he jumps like a machine. He's very
Oh,
good.
love it, love
He's
it.
from Netherlands. I have the pleasure. We are now organizing an event, and I love to see people who like you guys who bring other persons and take care of your community and try to get better and better every day, step by step, not just going and say I want to do a big event and then you cannot keep up to the event. And I think.
Exactly. It's so important to me that they're getting to enjoy these things and getting to grow up around it. They're going to be able to push the sport further than we ever could, and it doubles in with the people that are engineers by trade or designers I mean, you've seen the one wheel aftermarket parts, and you've seen the EUC aftermarket parts, Grizzly pads, barbecue fairings, Clark pads. The amount of innovation that have come to these already next generation
Yeah.
vehicles is amazing. So you add into the mix the youth and the potential and talent that they already have. There's no telling where we're going to end up. They could be doing 70-foot tall jumps and doing backflips and landing them first try. We don't know. It's crazy.
We was talking about him, and I think it is fair for me to show what is, and
Of course.
believe it. I don't want to say nothing wrong, but he is around 55 years old, and he's there, and he
I love
jumps.
it.
He can ride like a machine,
I
and
love it.
I think that is what we need, guys like him, and he
So
ride fast.
exactly. So what I'll say to add to that is I don't think that age really has anything to do with it.
No, my friend.
If you've taken care of yourself, if you're in a physical position where you can ride and you can keep up, then you have the ability to do the same thing as anybody else. You might know a little bit better. You might think that's too sketchy. I'm not going to do that.
Hmm.
But we have some riders in our community that I have nothing but pure respect for because they still have that pump. They still have that ability to get out there and get
Hmm.
after it. I'll drop a few names. Jason Messer,
Hmm.
Electric Bigfoot on Instagram.
Hmm.
Uh, I got completely broken and smashed up because I tried to catch up with that dude in the race. He is the fastest dude I've seen. He's amazing. He's won Masters divisions in one wheel races, and it's amazing to me that he's still getting after it after all of the innovation that he's done in different sports beforehand. Uh, Keith Prim, many people won't know who he is. He's a small town hero. We love him to death in Float NLC.
Send me
And
the link.
oh,
I
of
can show
course, I'll
him.
do that right now.
Yeah, when you are talking, you can send me the link and I show it. That is the beautiful thing. I think then the people can know what you are talking. That way, I think is better.
Let me pull up my phone here. But the
Yeah,
point being is that it's just absolutely not related to age whatsoever. It can
yeah,
be it's all in the brain.
yes,
That's literally all it ever was. Okay,
yeah.
so here we go. Pardon me while I get this typed
Yeah,
in.
it's no problem. I
With
just
the
want to say
pumpkin,
what Ralph said here. AUC in X Games. No, I think that not the AUC. I think what we see in Skate.com. I think electro skateboards, AUCs, one wheels. I think that the Red Bull and the X Games have to start to think about them.
yeah,
That.
so I think for us to make it to that level, though, there's a few things that has to happen first.
Hmm.
Um, we have to be able to appeal to the crowd at large. The reason that
Hmm.
the X Games is as popular as it is because the sports that they're featuring, motocross, snowboarding, skateboarding,
Hmm.
aggressive inline, so on and so forth, has a widespread appeal. Uh, there's been some numbers that have been put out for one wheel and EUC and e-skate, but there's not a terrible amount of people that are into these sports. We're
Hmm.
talking to the tune of maybe like 400,000 people worldwide that are in everything combined.
Hmm.
So to go back, go to the third video at the top column there for me. Yep, that's the one.
Oh, that's nice.
Keith Prim is closer to 50 than he is to 40. He's taken drops bigger than I ever would. That is a man that has a like
And
he's
everybody
got
was.
something wrong in his brain and he insists on doing things that are bigger than anybody else should do. And he will do it again and again and
I
again
like the
until he
clothes
wins.
from you guys.
And like he'll I've seen him with an ankle the size of a watermelon. This guy will not quit. He will just keep on trying until he gets it. And he's up there in age. Does it matter? Never. It's all in the brain. It is all right here. Love it.
I think the beautiful thing is when you achieve something that everybody goes there and give them a big support and
Exactly. There was
I,
so that was actually down in Bend. It was a
hmm.
very interesting night. We met up with a lot of people. It was probably the biggest group ride that Bend had in quite some time, and I love that. It's a high top. How'd your shoe come off, dude? Good God.
That was
But
good.
point being is, we met up with
That's
all
I
these
know.
people, and everybody is in the same hype. You know, we're all out here to have a great time. That was his first time landing it and riding with us in one of our practice garage.
Yeah, perfect. It did
And
perfect.
that's what I'm saying. So he probably wouldn't have thought to do that beforehand, but because me and Scott, One Will Scotty,
Uh huh.
were trying this trick, he wanted to give it a go. I think he got it about fourth try, and it's a nudge sex change. It is not an easy trick.
Yeah,
It's really difficult actually. You have to keep up a
yeah,
lot of balls juggling at the same time.
yeah.
But
You
that
have
gets
to.
me excited. You know, it's amazing.
I think that get inside. I think that helped the community to grow first of all, and I think that make you guys more united because you are first of all you are trying all of you together, and when you achieve, I see the happiness from all of you guys, and I think that is the important thing. I think I always tell this is difficult. I understand. I'm going to put it in the best way. I love the one wheel community. I don't have nothing to do with the future emotion. I don't have nothing against them, but the community of one wheel, they are so fantastic.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't have words for them. I think you see in Facebook that is the biggest group that keeps is the one wheel riders as electric device. There is no AUC group, there is no skateboard group, and you guys are the ones who create more events like us here in Europe. This year, for the first time, we're going to have 5 events of one wheels.
Amazing.
We don't have
Amazing.
we're not going to have not one of skateboards, not one of AUCs, just 5 events, big events of one wheel, and that is something that's showing how the people are united.
Exactly, and I will say that it's not that one wheel has an advantage over any of the other PEVs or micro
Hmm.
mobility devices. It's just that there's a certain skateboarder Dogtown esque feeling that you get with one wheel in its nascent form right now.
Hmm.
That we all are kind of in the same train. We're trying to understand what this sport can be,
Hmm.
and we want to meet with like minded individuals that want to support the same goals.
Hmm.
So you have, the float life, you have wheel fun stuff, you have Bob Stokes shop, you have people like yourself, No Limits to Ride.
Hmm.
Um, that we're all incredibly different people. We all come from different jobs. We all have different backgrounds. We all grew up in different areas. But the tie that binds us together is this thing that has some batteries on it and a motor.
Hmm.
It's really hard to explain exactly why it brings everybody together, but it's because we all have this shared interest
Hmm.
that we really want to feel is, going to go somewhere. And you do that by getting with a bunch of people out in the field, setting up some features, racing, and having a great time.
I just want
Unbelievable.
you send me something from the Scott, and I think it's important, guys. We are not telling that the AUCs are bad. I think the community from AUCs are great. I think
Cool.
the AUC, for me, I love the AUC. I think is better transport for you to go to A to B, and if you go work and everything, I think the AUC, that's why it's so growth so fast, because lots of people are using. We were seeing Mike last time. He was doing a video from in his YouTube and showing how to win money with the AUC.
Yeah, to do the DoorDash, which is
Yeah.
such a great way. You can pay off your own wheel doing that. It's
Yes,
great.
yes. And it shows everything, and I think that is the beautiful thing. But I know guys who have one wheel that they do the same, and the one wheel has the other points that you can charge faster and everything. Everything has is negative points and positive points,
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think we cannot say that one is better than the other one. But I want to show here from Scott that you send us, and I think
Yeah,
is
so go
because
back
we are
to, yeah,
talking about that.
perfect. So Scott owns an S22, and I own a T4, the Go
Hmm.
T4.
Yeah.
So jumps like that, that's a 15-foot gap. Scott's only been riding for a short period of time. That is Jay Cruel from Hoyt Skate, great dude. So there you go.
He's,
Me Me and Scott riding together. We have this
What?
awesome
How was the first time? I was. Do you ride? Do you start to ride AUCs without suspension, or you started directly with suspension?
So the first EUC I ever rode was an S18.
Okay.
So I've always been on suspension wheels, but I've
Mm-hmm.
ridden on every single EUC that there is out there on the market:
Mm-hmm.
Master, Hero, S22, S18, M104, M103, MCM5. You name it, I've been on
Mm-hmm.
it. Um,
But I would like to ask you this. Why? Because I have a question. Do you think the suspension is the future for the AUC?
I do think the suspension is the future for the EUC for a couple of reasons. First one is for jumping.
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing in mountain biking and biking in general called preload. It's
Mm-hmm.
where you are able to compress your spring compression down as you're coming up the ramp in order for you to release it. What
Mm-hmm.
that is going to do is, as you're hitting a jump, it's going to allow for the wheel to come up
Mm-hmm.
and give you just a little bit more boost. Of course, the biggest advantage to suspension, though, is when you're landing, it
Mm-hmm.
prevents you from taking as much damage as you would on a non-suspension.
Mm-hmm.
It also chews up the small divots that you have in trails.
Mm-hmm.
These tracks that we're riding at aren't particularly well maintained. They got lots of divots,
Yeah.
lots of issues, just things that make it pretty difficult for you to ride on. And like you're able to just land and not worry about anything. It's
And
just it eats it up.
and how was the sensation for the first time to jumping?
Horrifying, scariest experience in my life. You jump. All right, so look, there's a very specific technique to jumping that
Uh-huh.
people have to learn very early on. It's that you are getting jumped by the wheel. You are not jumping the wheel. The wheel
Mm-hmm.
is there. You're just riding it. So if you ever watch Mike jump, you'll
Mm-hmm.
see that he has a very particular style.
Yes.
We all try to emulate that because what he's doing is he's pushing the wheel in front of him. He's also going extremely fast. And
Mm-hmm.
what that does is it allows the wheel to stay in a neutral position as it flies through the air, because if it leans too far back, wheel starts spinning backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Leans too far forward, wheel spins forward. As soon as you land, what do you think happens? The
Mm-hmm.
wheel's
Yeah.
still moving. You'll spin out and you'll lose that wheel in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to show you something. Do you think all the wheels, the AUCs are good to jump?
Not at all. No. Not one bit.
I'm just going to show you because I know that I have friends here and some friends because I have the Sherman X, and one friend for me sent me a video showing from the Sherman X. I have to find it. He sent me yesterday because he jumped and then he has the nosedive because the tire spin in a wrong.
Exactly. So what I'll say for that is a little bit more technique based, but when you're talking about the Shermans, the Pattons, the Abrams,
Here we
the
are.
Leaper Kims, stuff like that, they're not, they can jump. All EUCs can jump.
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean that they were really designed to do so?
But I
That's
think the
debatable.
Sherman is a little. I think, or he was with a lot of speed, or I think the Sherman is a little heavy. I don't know because I never jump
The
so
Sherman
high.
is heavy, and I've ridden it, and going over curbs and such,
Look,
it can be
no,
a pain. So
now,
you see,
yeah,
his wheel is spinning,
yeah,
and there you go. The wheel, however, did try to correct itself,
yeah.
but
You try in end. If you see it in end, that's what I was looking in slow motion. If you see it
a
here,
piece of plastic at the end.
yeah, that is always. Look. She tries to push
And
him.
right there.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
there. Yep,
If you see it here, push it. Try to push him, but it was too late.
exactly.
And
So
here comes the beautiful part. Pieces.
right there. Great. Love it.
I think that was not a piece. I think that was a pat.
Yes, which is always good. And what I'll say for anybody that's buying an EUC, the best thing and the first thing that you should do is, if you don't have flat sides like you have on the Leaper Kim wheels, the Sherman, the Abrams, and so forth, go ahead and get yourself a fairing kit, and go ahead and get yourself some pads from your favorite producer, whether it be Clark, Grizzly, maybe you print them out yourself. It
Yeah.
will change your riding completely. It's fantastic.
I think that was a big change. We have to thank to this guys who has a fantastic group, a fantastic channel in China. He don't do so much videos today, but he was the guy who started with the pets, and I think the pets makes a big difference
It
for all
really
of.
does.
It makes a big difference for you as a one wheel rider. Do you need do you always ride? Do you always ride with the
The fins.
with the fins, or you ride also without, because you are a guy that likes to jump, a guy likes
Yeah.
to crazy, because when you see Scott don't like to if you see him here, I talk with him and he said I
Yes.
like to have my feet more
More
open.
locked in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I enjoy riding both. Where I really get the most enjoyment out of my particular type of riding is with fins.
Mm-hmm.
I can do finless all day long, and I enjoy it. It's just a different type of riding. When you have fins on, the amount of control that you can exert over your wheel is almost criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you don't mess up your curb edges anymore. Your bonks get to be extremely stylish, and you can really exert on the wheel. A perfect example is Kyle Hansen's new thing that he's been doing. Yeah,
Oops.
exactly, stuff like that. Like you can't do flat threes. You can't do flat threes with a finless board. It's it, you gotta you got to take advantage of what you have, but
Yeah.
not treat them as one or the other. I like to do both because it's a different feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all of them need to be respected. Like I love riding finless. I love riding with the fins,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just all about enjoying what you're doing at the end of the day. You know?
Okay, but I'm going to ask you: do you have just one board, or you have more than one board?
I was gonna bring down some props. So, like
No,
technicality,
I have two of them. I have two
exactly, and
because
I technically have two as well.
yeah.
But if we're counting controllers as like a wheel, the brains of the operation, I
Mm-hmm.
technically have five one wheels.
Yeah.
So that's one big thing that I wanted to get into is the issue that I have with one wheel, and it's not a problem with future motion.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's more my fault, and I'll go ahead and say it's 100% my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I can beat my Begode T4 version 2 all day long. I've tossed down mountains. I have tossed it in creek beds. It's flipped end over end, hundreds of feet. I get it up, turn it off, turn it back on, and away it rides. I've had some situations on the one wheel where I'll try to do something that's mundane, like jumping and landing in grass, and I have broken three controllers doing that. Completely
Ooh.
burnt them out, broken them to the point that if I wanted to get them repaired, I have to send them to a specialty shop and wait 6 months. It becomes very frustrating at the end of the day where you just want to ride, but the vehicle that you're on doesn't want to support that action.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm not riding it correctly. Maybe it wasn't designed for a person like me. But that's why Vesk is such a good answer.
Yeah, that's
It's
why I'm going to come to the vest. Do you think the vest? Did you try it? How can you describe it for you? What is the vest for
So the Vesk
everybody's?
for me was a means to an end. I didn't want to get a Vesk because I wanted to mess around with settings or anything like that. It simply was the most accessible option for me at the time. I didn't want to spend another $350 on a 4209 XR controller that I knew I was going to break.
Mm-hmm.
I needed something right now that could get me riding, and that, according to people in the community, was built more purposefully towards riders like myself that will beat up the controller and will beat up every single component on the board. So the biggest comparison, though, that I can make is that when you're on a one wheel and you're on mission, what I want you to do is I want you to go about 10 miles per hour, and I want you to lean all the way back
Mm-hmm.
on your back foot and let that tail hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice that it'll slowly go down and you'll grind your tail on the ground and come to a
Yeah.
full stop.
Yeah.
Vesk, you can completely make that not a thing. You can make that to where the board will simply never touch tail, it'll never
Mm-hmm.
touch nose. It will be like standing on
It's always
flat ground.
balanced.
It's always balanced. And you can take in any which direction that you want. For me,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't upgraded any of the components. This will
What are
probably
you using? What vest are you using?
I'm using the Little Fokker 3.1.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the older firmware as well because I haven't been bothered to upgrade to 6, so I don't have all the fancy new like float
Mm-hmm.
controls that you have. I
Mm-hmm.
do, however, am doing a installation of the Hoyt Street Puck for the tilt remote tilt control in one of
Mm-hmm.
my boards, and
You want to have the
just to,
controller? Do you think
yeah,
the controller is good?
just to kind of bring it back around though, it's like
Mm-hmm.
I for a while there, when I first started riding Vesk, I was pretty disillusioned with it. I didn't like it. I thought it was something that I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't get used to and that I wouldn't like. Because I love the Future Motion controller, the
Mm-hmm.
way that it feels, the way that it rides. It's just got that perfect butter mix
It's
of the way
balance.
it's balanced. It's great, and it's adjustable to the points
Mm-hmm.
that you could really understand.
And it's
But
the
then
safety point.
exactly, and the safety. It's but when I started getting used to Vesk and understanding what it was for and what it could do, I learned to love it. It started to make sense. But as I said, it was a means to an end. I want to ride. I'm not going to stop riding. I want to have something that'll get me there, and Vesk was the answer.
And we are seeing now that is coming a company is going to be new out of China, that is going to be the float wheel. Do you think what you have seen? Do you think that is going to be something that is going to be innovation, or is just going to be something just to compete with the future motion? Don't have nothing with Vest. Don't have nothing. Like you need power to make your tricks, you need the balance, you need when you go downhill you have to be safe that you don't not going to break too much, because then you're going to is going to disconnect it, but that is always the problem.
Yeah,
Or if you
so
go uphill you disconnect it too when you have too much power.
disconnected, overheated,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
goes wrong, MOSFET blows out, who knows? So for me, I've talked with the gang a whole lot about it, about the float wheel. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, the Clark pads bio are great.
Yeah.
They got lots of good things going for them.
Mm-hmm.
Point being though, for float wheel, it's got a very tumultuous
Thank
kind
you,
of
Kim.
thing going for it. And thank you so much, Quinn. Appreciate you. It's got a very tumultuous thing going for it because, on one hand, competition is the best thing that One Wheel could even ask for right now as a sport.
Mm-hmm.
You look at EUC, you have these almost like cartoonish brands that are competing against each other. You got King Song. Everything is really clean and they got dot matrix on their displays. Then you got Bagode where it's like, oh, it's a little bit more rugged, a little bit more manly.
Plastic.
Plastic, yeah. And then you got stuff like Leaper Kim and which is oh, we're tough, we're rough. It looks like a tank.
Yeah, you
InMotion,
see the name, you see directly
yeah,
the
you see
name
the name,
is
and
everything military
yeah,
names.
yeah, and InMotion is like almost Apple-esque to me. So you have
Yeah,
these companies that all pick their vibe, and they're competing. They're making each other better. You
they
could
have
say
to.
that they're all operating out of the same city, but that's neither here nor there. But they have to
They have
because
to. They don't have no chance.
exactly, One Wheel needs that. One Wheel has always needed
But
the
no,
competition.
no. But the future emotion don't want that.
They don't want it, and I don't blame them. They did a very, very smart decision when they started this
Yes, I
company.
understand. I understand them. But for
Yeah.
us, the consumer, is better.
It's better. We need the competition. I will
And
say
for
the
future
way
emotion, is going to be better for them because they have to
no,
step up.
exactly. And to come to that point, I don't know if many people here did it. I hope that everybody that's watching did. Future Motion came out with a survey where they asked some very pointed questions about what you, the consumer, wanted
Mm-hmm.
to see with One Wheel. Now
Mm-hmm.
they could have asked for more range or better durability,
Mm-hmm.
but the more shrewd viewer would look at that list and notice that they were talking about trick riding
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about durability in some different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that Future Motion, as quiet and tight lipped as they are, is listening to the community. They are open to it, but they have to very carefully choose what they do in order to approach this in the correct and legal way. Now, where Float Wheel comes in, because of their jurisdiction, how they're approaching it, how you have to pay for the thing through cryptocurrency, is able to sidestep a lot of that. They're able to take the technology and the form factor, and they're able to adapt it to the way they want. The foot pad sensor is completely different. The type of motor that they're using has a higher magnet count, so the
Mm-hmm.
stator is going to be different. They're putting batteries in the front pack and the backpack. They're approaching their rails completely different,
The
which
rails is from somebody. The tire is from somebody.
exactly, and
Everything is from somebody.
it's all very inspired, and you could argue that yes, maybe a little bit of it was stolen, but
Not a baby. Come on. I don't have nothing against
I
the
know.
guy. I think he do it, but
There was some very pointed discussions
yeah,
from
that is. I think.
Crypto.
I think it's like this. I don't have nothing against him. I talk with him. He wants to come here in the interview, and I think that is fair for him to come. He just want to bring the board out, and he's going to come here to talk about and answer all the questions. And I have to be fair out with the guys of the community who create so much stuff, and I know that he's using the stuff that they created, and for Flute Life, they are paying now some money because of the tire they are using. But they forget about the rest. There is the rails is from one guy here who made in America, and he makes lots of stuff for the one wheel
He's very
community.
vital to the community.
Yeah, and I
His
think that is
contribution.
is something is not fair, and I think that
Yeah.
we have
And
to
so
balance everything.
that's one point that I kind of wanted to bring back to. Well, first thing being is that he wants to come onto the show. His communication that he has had with the community is second to none. If Future Motion did that, we'd all have Future Motion T-shirts, Future Motion hats. We'd rev it out till the day we die. But they don't talk. They don't discuss the issues. They didn't go
They
into
don't want.
detail. They don't want that kind of publicity. And yet again, it's very smart of them to avoid it. But it also would give us a lot of peace of mind to understand that they're working. They're trying to make things happen for us. GT, when it first came out, had severe ghosting issues. They did minor posts here and there. They never came out with something that just said, "We apologize. This is what happened." Float Wheel had problems with his battery cases coming out, warped. He did a 10-minute long video of how he fixed it. Who else is doing that?
Yeah, I think what he's telling is to the Future Music singles cannot be most powerful. Yeah, the problem from Future Motion it was with the control of everything, and they said we can do whatever we want, and the guys who wants to fix it they could not fix it because Future Emotion. If I mean, I'm going to tell you for me. I'm not going to go to Australia or something like that. But for me, our guys here in Europe, God, believe it, we was 3, 4 months, 5 months without one wheel because we have to send it to California.
Yes, exactly. All right, that can get me onto a whole nother diatribe of why they haven't decided to open up individual repair centers when I have one in Portland, and
Yeah.
he's great at repairing one wheel. If he
Yes.
was sponsored by Future Motion, he would have a huge amount of business coming towards him.
And
But they
was
just
easy
don't.
for Future Emotion to have more people loving them, and there's lots of people who hate them or don't like them so much because of these problems. There's lots of guys who don't buy it because they say if I have a problem, I don't have the second board, I'm going to be without board for 4 or 5 months. I don't know how many
Exactly.
times.
And here's where it gets really interesting. I spent some time in France last summer, and I decided to go visit the Ride On experience in Paris and talk to them for a little bit. Didn't get to demo a board. Would have loved to ride one wheels in Paris, but it is what it is. Um, and they aren't able to do repairs, and they are a Future Motion branded dealer. They are not allowed to service boards. It
Yeah.
all has to go back to California. It's it's mind blowing to me. It's a horrible way to be. If it's built on golf.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is truth. Of course, that is going to be a new board, guys. Always, you see the GT, what happened when they came out. You see the XR when it came out. You see the Plus when it came out. We're going to fix the problems from these companies because we're going to fall, we're going to see that is not good, that is always good, that's why I always tell to everybody, don't be the person who's going to test the first machines because
Yes.
you're going to be
You're in for a treat. I do appreciate the people that go out and are the first runners and try to make it happen. But if you want a complete product, just be patient. So
Yes.
to answer Steesley's question
Mm-hmm.
here, for me, in my opinion, on what Float Wheel is going to do, the VESC PID loop that they're currently utilizing,
Mm-hmm.
and the other things that go into it, your motor frequencies and your communication through
Mm-hmm.
UART and so forth, is a very good system.
Mm-hmm.
And because of it being an open source project, I do believe that Float Wheel is going to use something similar to that, but they are going to adapt it to their own needs. Whether that be that they focus more on having sliders, like we've seen on the Float Control app that has been out for iPhone for some time,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's going to be more of a text based, they'll figure out something in there. But I do believe that they're going to have a good amount of focus on making it a customer friendly version, because they're coming out with the retail one wheel,
Mm-hmm.
or retail float wheel. Sorry. Um, Vesk is for the DIY enthusiast. And when
Mm-hmm.
you look at the app, 100%. Thank you to people like Nico Ailman that has been pushing really, really hard on making the Vesk app more
Mm-hmm.
accessible to a wider audience, but it's still a DIY effort. When we get to the point that it looks really similar, not quite the same because we don't want to get in
So
trouble, to the
I'm
Future Motion app, then we'll be in it.
I'm going to tell you something. I speak with Benjamin, the creator from the VESC,
Benjamin Vetter, yep.
and he's working a lot to create something to put in your hands that you can change everything.
So
It's
similar to
open
like an
source for you
e-skate kind of
guys.
thing where you have all of
Yes.
your controls. Yeah,
You're
perfect.
going to have with controls or without controls, but he's going to create that in one way. What I understand, he's working with Trampa in the UK, and Benjamin is a very intelligent guy, and he said, I love what these creators are doing around the world because that is open source. He leave it open for everyone, and now he's trying to help the community. And I think that is the beautiful when you go to the forum and see how they are working everything. And lots of people don't understand how much hours, how many time they have to put these vests. And when we was talking about 6 months ago, everybody was talking how vest we need lots of time, and now we are seeing how many riders, the best riders using, and they are thinking,
Maybe this has something to it. Maybe we could take this someplace. Exactly. It's amazing. It really is.
So then I'm going to ask you, do you think that was a big mistake for the Future Emotion to take out the XR?
Oh, yes. That was a massive mistake on their part.
So,
So, in my opinion, the Pint and the Pine X are, and I'll get a little bit of hate for this. They're
no,
not
my friend, that
really.
is the truth.
What up, Red Boy Yan? Good seeing you.
Yeah,
Glad to have you here.
he's always here, my friend, and he's
Yeah, I
fantastic.
love
Thank you
Red
for
Boy
coming.
Yan. Scott Stringer talks to him all the time. I'm actually from the United Kingdom myself, so one of these days I'll get over there and I'll get to do a little bit of riding
And the
with him.
community is fantastic there, my friend.
Exactly.
Every time I
So
go there, they make so much stuff for me, and I don't know
yeah,
how
and I
to.
always love watching Chan rides, and of course Red Boy Yan and
Yeah.
Yan Gardening, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have to correct me on that.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, uh, yes, removing the XR from the lineup was a huge mistake, because when you think of one wheel,
Mm-hmm.
you don't think about GT, you
Mm-hmm.
don't think about Pint, you think about those straight
Yeah.
rails. And that's awesome to hear, Jan. The fact that you're working with Trampa, I
Mm-hmm.
love when people in the community get to work with the companies that make this dream come true, because we're keeping it in the family. We're elevating each other. That's great.
I love
But
Trumper. I can tell you, I love Trumper because all of these crazy guys are inside. They are riders. They
yes,
work there inside, and they are riders. The owners today is guys who love this sport, guys who know what they are talking about. And I think the company have to know what they are doing. They have to ride it. They have to, and they have the guys who are working there inside. They are the most crazy guys of all. They broke everything. They try it. They try it till that is okay to put in the market. Not like the other companies that they give to the YouTubers or give to the guys there, and we have to go make videos, and sometimes it's broken. They put it everything together. I think that is nice from them. I
Yeah.
don't win nothing with them. I just love the riders because they are crazy guys.
Yeah, and so what I'll don't run warning. I'll even put a little bit more onto it. You go and you look at Cali NYC, you look at LaCroix, um, and unfortunately, you look at Hoyt Street, you look at Metro Board, all of the big names in
Thank you,
the
my friend. Yeah.
company that make the luxury boards. And then you go and look at Trampa. Trampa has the most customization that you could get on any board. I get overwhelmed. I've gone on there and built 15 boards and saved them, and they're all completely different. You know, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, helical gear, belt gear, direct drive, hub motor. You have so many insane options that you are just absolutely overrun with possibilities. And I've always appreciated Trampa for that. But what I will say, and this is to compliment, you know, a little bit of the Portland boys, I get to ride with the Hoyt Street crew quite a lot. I've ridden on all of their prototype boards. I got to try some stuff that you guys will hopefully get to see in the upcoming months that you're going to
Mm-hmm.
fall in love with. I got to ride the prototype version of the board that they just announced, the Hoyt Street Tabor. I'm going to get to borrow the Hoyt Street Weiser for an extended period of time during the summer so I can really test it out. I love Eastgate for that reason. They are all dedicated riders that want to see it become something special. They want to make a board that you can put up on a wall that is going to just wow you every single time you look at it. If you've ever seen a Hoyt Street board in person, it's a work of art. If you've seen a Tramper board in person, man, that thing is like a dune buggy. I love it. It's absolutely awesome. Same for the Metro board, forged carbon, pressed carbon uh, enclosure, super solid, big old 7-inch tires on it, fantastic. Lacroix, oh, I'm sure that you know all about them, but their
I
boards are
have two of them.
special. They're Lamborghinis. They're fantastic.
I have one DIY all made. I just have the deck and the enclosure. The rest I made it with parts from Atox, the guy here from
Yeah.
Germany.
Oh, don't get me started on Etox. That guy is insane.
This is one of the best guys. I see it. I love to
He
ride
is
with him, and
his DIYs that he comes out with and that air suspension that he has on his boards. Holy
that
Jesus.
is a Psycho Frame. Is the
Oh,
name. That is the
gotcha.
name they put it, and he is a fantastic person. I think the communities are fantastic, and I think we learn with each others, and I think for you, I'm going to put it like this. We are seeing growing and growing for you, my friend. What you love, like I'm going to put it in different in AUCs and in the one wheels. What you like to see in a future happening or updating for these two types of machines. What you
So
love to see.
for EUC, I believe that the race community does need to progress a little bit further. We saw with the Master Pro that from Begode that we have a wheel that can now really contend and make for extremely interesting races, but it still has a little bit more durability to be made, and we need to continue down that line. I think 134-volt systems are, we can go further than that, but it's a really sweet spot of weight versus power transmission. So I'd love to see them become a little bit more rigid, a little bit more reliable, because as we saw at Apple Valley Speedway and some of the
Mm-hmm.
different competitions, when they fall, they rip it themselves apart.
Yeah.
It's very unpleasant. Thank you to Begode for willing to repair those wheels for the patrons
Mm-hmm.
because you're not cheap.
Yeah,
On
it's
the
not
other
cheap.
side, though, on the jumping side, I believe that the recent influx in smaller
Question so much
16
was this
inch
okay.
wheels. What is your opinion on the loose middle nuts on pump power switches? Biggest fail from FMA. I'll get to that question in
Yeah, yeah,
just a
we come
second,
back. We come back to that question.
just because I don't want to get off of my
Yeah, yeah.
diatribe quite yet. I want to see smaller wheels. I want to see smaller wheels that have powerful motors in them that can operate on trails and do jumps without weighing half a ton. S22 is really close to being a perfect wheel, but it's 77 pounds. So,
Mm-hmm.
as a new rider, you'll get on that wheel and you want to jump. You want to be like Shibby Tom. Who doesn't want to be like that? Or Brian B. Rex or any of those jumping guys. But they're heavy and they're
Yeah.
not forgiving when you're in the air. You will try to overcompensate. You'll spin your wheel out. You'll get discouraged. They have a pretty low angle cutout on them. They're typically set at right around 40 to 30 degrees off the box, and you can adjust them up to 75. But they should be really at the decision of the rider.
Hmm.
We're taking our own fate into our hands whenever we ride these things. I know that the companies aren't allowed to unlock them from the box, but as we've seen with like the InMotion V13, recently they put in a fancier mode where you can go up to 60 miles per hour on them. The potential is there. Give it to the people. Have them sign off on waivers, whatever it is. Have them understand that the decisions that they make are their decisions. The company didn't do anything about it. Moving on to one wheel.
Before you go, I just want to show to everybody who don't know what he was talking about. That's
God, the
what is.
psycho frame. Look at that thing. God.
That is, guys. That is like crazy stuff. But everything made
That box
himself.
in between his legs is batteries with an air travel kit. It
Yes.
allows him to move up and down and have suspension.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nothing else. Look at that thing. Unbelievable. Look at
That
the
is.
flex as the chain drive engages. It's unbelievable. This guy is an absolute innovator. I love watching what he does.
So don't forget the gear drives was him who put it. The gear drives for the ace skaters is him who created the first ones.
Exactly.
He's a
very
creator.
important. Yeah, it's a very important innovation
Look,
that he
look,
made.
look at this.
It's crazy. He's leaning all the way over. You see that
Yeah,
on
because
some
you
of the,
have your feet. Your feet, you cannot take
he's
it out.
locked in,
The
exactly.
the
But
the boots
you
is
can't do
like.
that unless you're completely locked in.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
see him, so there's a specific stance that's popular in downhill skateboarding or longboarding, as it is, where you drop your knee, you get your front leg at an angle. That way, you're able to keep on your board with a lower center of gravity. When you're locked in like that, you no longer have to worry about bending your knees in that way. You just simply lean. It
Yeah.
gives you unparalleled control. But look at that. Look, when he came out with this Psycho frame, nobody was riding through material like that. Everything that he did on this wheel was like legendary at the
And
time.
he's selling these guys nowadays the mini frame, and the mini
Yeah,
frame is crazy, and
yeah,
everybody is buying. And the good thing by him, he just sell the parts, and then you can create it your machine
you can
like
do
you
what you
want it.
want.
And
Exactly. But I will say, don't cringe at the price. It is very expensive. You are buying a product that is handmade. It is
yeah, it's
impressive.
handmade, and you have to think one important thing. You have to think that is very important for everybody. Don't know that is a CNC, and CNC is very expensive, and
And it's not fast. It's
yeah,
not
you,
fast at
you
all. Like
you
yes, you have CNC farms that can do things really quickly.
you can see
It's
it the frame.
yeah. Look at that thing. It's ridiculous. It's crazy the amount of engineering that goes into it.
Yeah.
All those parts are individually made. The foot pads that you have there are absolutely beautiful. It's just such a purpose built machine. You cannot touch it. I love it. I'm an engineer by trade, so seeing stuff like this just absolutely blows my mind.
So what you talk about that I want everybody to understand, because I think so.
This right
Now you're
here.
going to see it. The
Watch
suspension.
this. Look at this guy. Oh, let me just go ahead and drop it on down a little bit. Yeah, lowrider action. That's what we need. Come
And
on
now you're
now.
going to go up.
It's crazy. No other board has that. Not a single one.
And now it's just you just have to help with your feet, because that way the air is going to be faster. But
Exactly.
look, it's coming
Yep,
up.
he just starts leaning a little bit. All right, a little bit. Step it up a little bit more, and just keep on going. I mean, you see that on long haul truckers. You see that on military vehicles. It is a well known um, technology, but it takes somebody with a lot of time, patience, and innovation in mind, in order to
Yeah,
be
you
able to
have to be
yeah,
safety for him is very important. I'm
yeah.
not making here propaganda for him. I think he's a fantastic guy and he loves
Oh,
the
of course not.
sport.
And so
And
let me give a little bit of context to that. The boards that I own are Meepo boards.
uh,
They are well known as a budget friendly e-skate,
mhm,
and I love them just as much as I love anything else. It's all about what you're comfortable on and what you're used to. So
yeah,
a board like what he's on right there versus say an Onsford Black Carve or a own board AT2 Backfire Ranger.
look at
um,
this, my friend. Street
Exactly.
with trampa deck.
It's all equal. We're just out here to enjoy being on wheels and getting to go really fast, and it's stuff like that. It's not better than anything else. It's just a different kind of ride, and I love it
I think that we are going in a right way. I think there is lots of good stuff.
for sure.
They're coming every day, and I think we are showing to the world that that is the one of the ways of the future. That is the mini frame. That is the what is selling
Yeah,
now a
this is the
lot.
one that you can get. Yeah.
That's you
Of
can
course,
go.
you have to source your own battery. You have to get the motors and all that. But as you can see,
Yeah, my friend.
you can choose 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive.
I just tell you, if you buy the mini frame, is selling at a good price. If you buy the big frame, I think the big frame, the Psycho frame is around 3.5, but comes with all the components, everything.
Exactly.
Then you just
Everything
have
that
to
you
buy
need.
tires, motors, and
The battery.
that's the battery.
Yeah,
You can make it
but that's to be
yourself.
expected. It is a DIY effort, so it's
Yeah,
really good.
for
If you wouldn't
creators.
mind, could you bring up that previous question? I believe it was with Quinn.
Yeah, I'm going to put it now for you to see it.
Because I
I
do
think
want to talk about that one a little
I'm
bit.
going to put it here now. Let's see it.
Yeah,
No, it's
so
not this one. Not this one. It's here on the top. Yeah.
and that's actually the what that other question. I'm going to get to that too because that's very interesting.
Let me
Question
see.
from
Where
Max:
is the
What is your opinion on the
question?
loose metal nuts on pint power
Yep,
switches?
yep.
Biggest fail from FM, in my opinion. So there is a thing with developing consumer electronic parts and parts in general. So you have a lot of R&D that goes into the parts and a lot of different iterations that happens to the wheel. If you look back at some of the concept art and prototypes that FM went through for the One Wheel Plus, it took quite some time to get to the XR. But what happens is you come out with your first product and you find it up and you make it something really special. You know, as a business, in order for you to stay profitable, you have to continue to innovate. You have to come out with other products. You have to come out with things that can apply to a different subset of your audience. And what that means is that you're going to take a lot of what you like about the previous product and you're going to adapt it. You're going to try to keep with the same thing. You end up having a lot of things that can slip through the cracks. Power connectors, battery connections, the MOSFETs that you use, the individual components that go on your PCB. There is always going to be a failure point. It's just how drastic is it going to be? Did FM know that was going to happen? I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they accepted it as a potential loss. But things will fall through the cracks. You cannot fault them too much. It's just part of it. So I won't give them too much of a slap on the back of the hand or anything like that. Things happen. Yes, it was a massive mistake on their part. But the fact that they addressed it moving forward, even though they could have talked about it, is good. They did what they're supposed to. We fixed the problem on our own. We had our own aftermarket
We
connectors.
are always the guys who fix it.
That's neither here nor there. It was mentioned, is an electric motorcycle a PEV? We have
Yeah.
some of our riders on the with the Friday Night Ride crew that utilize the Zero brand electric motorcycles. They're amazing. They have a belt drive system to it that if you lay full on the throttle as you're just from zero, you will rip apart that belt because it cannot handle the stress. We need to define a PEV, however, personal
Yeah.
electronic vehicle. It can hold two people. Is it really personal anymore?
Today,
Kind of.
they are not using anymore the PVs. They are using PLEV, electro. I don't want to. I think they are trying to change because they are trying to change.
It needs to broaden a little bit. Yes,
Yes,
it needs
because
to.
the other was made more when it was the cars there.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think that makes the big difference from. But the people are used to the PVs, and
Exactly. So what I'll say for PEVs, and there was another question that referenced to the weight. There's not a weight limit on a PEV. For me,
mhm,
a PEV is just that, a personal electronic vehicle, one
uh-huh,
person.
mhm,
You can ride with multiple people on a one wheel, and it's really kind of fun, but it's not how it was meant to be rode. One
yeah,
person can be on an EUC, but I know for a fact that you can get more than one person on an EUC.
mhm,
Not how it was designed, and that's the whole thing. Was it designed for one person? PEV.
yeah. And then we're going to go. Okay, let me see. That was the question. Yes, more than the e-bikes. Sure,
Is
not
electric
so.
motorcycle a
Yeah, yeah,
PEV?
yeah.
It's in a weird thing. If you can, if it has to be licensed by the state or the country in order for you to ride it on the roads, that's where it moves into electric vehicle.
Yeah.
Point.
What
What is
personal about? Personal about it.
exactly. Oh no,
Obviously,
that's real
right through
personal,
personal.
man.
Yeah.
You gotta be real personal with the people that are on it, dude.
I like to ride.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Being able to adjust on an EUC how high you can ride or on like an e-bike. Sure. Yeah,
Button and
smash
push.
that like button, people.
The evolution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's wishful thinking. What are you gonna do? I'm a positive person. I want to see them do more, but
I think they're going to learn now that they have to work because they have to step up because now is coming the VESC is coming this company of China that they cannot catch them because they want to catch them because
yes,
that's why they are selling this way. They cannot sell it other way because if they sell it in other way, happens like in the first time they close it up.
yeah.
That's what I talked with him in private, and he said, "I cannot sell it in other way. I have to sell it like this, or they're going to shut me up directly." And we'll see. Cars are AVs, AVs are small.
UV is small.
Yeah.
That's true. But if you've ever ridden on a Master Pro with the Clark Pads fairing system and their Bio Clark Pads, that is not small. We have a rider with us, Kane Steve, long distance rider for the people. It will go on 100-mile rides like it's a Tuesday. He doesn't care one bit, and he is fast. I love riding with that dude. He has a Master Pro, and he'll probably correct me on that. It might just be a Master. That the seat height on it is 34 inches tall.
Wow.
It is massive. You're not able to flat your feet anymore. It is huge. To talk about the question that Jan had brought up earlier about the 3 amp BMS components versus the 3.2 amp, I don't get too much into electronics just because I'm not a electrical engineer by trade. I'm a mechanical. It is not necessarily an oversight because there's certain losses and certain restrictors that come into exactly how the BMS is handling the power load out to the battery cells. They should always oversize. You should always oversize your internal components and never touch the top. It's called a safety margin for a reason. You want to have a certain level of flexibility that you have within your system to allow for you to have spikes in your power. But is it an oversight? Yeah, maybe it's a little bit cheap, but I don't know. They designed it a specific way, and they know what they're doing. Fast is going to
Yeah.
get stuff banned. It is true. People should ride fast away from the authorities. Yeah, but here in Portland, we have talked about that a lot. We have some of the fastest wheels on the planet right here in our city. We ride in the main streets. We talk to police. We talk to the locals. We make sure that we're being respectful. If we're riding through parks, we'll make sure that we're loud and we can be heard by people ahead of us. That way we don't scare people. Yes, they can get banned if you're being a jackass about it. You need
Yes,
to
and that is the problem, my friend. That is, we're not going to go to that because I have so much of this discussion,
yes,
and
and where you
so
live,
people
it's a
are
very
very
hot
are
topic.
very are very. These guys here from UK and UK now is banned. completely. I think they're just going to leave yet the e-scooter private free there, but till this moment is everything illegal. And because there is more PVs there, now is completely the police are catching all the time the guys, and everybody's afraid
Such a
to
shame.
ride. And
Such a shame.
but I always tell to everyone. Sometimes I know that the people, the young guys, they don't understand what they say. I say, if you have your freedom, don't lose it. Try to
Exactly.
respect when you see the police or something like that. Try to be easy, be cruel, be nice to them. You're not going to lose nothing. Laughing and being you think you're going to win points with your friend, but in general, everybody's going to lose it, and
Exactly.
you cannot enjoy it. And I think it's so nice for us to have a good time riding. I know
Precisely.
because I live in one country too, is Germany. Netherlands is illegal to ride, and believe it, guys, now in Belgium was legal, now is starting to change the laws, and now they are banning more. That's why I don't like to see that, and I love to see you guys in America to having so much freedom to that can ride like us. Now we are organizing for 60th of April a big event, and we have to be so careful to do everything because of the police not putting nobody, and that is so sad for us to be
It
like
really is.
hiding.
So
You
what I'd
understand?
say to piggyback off of that is one of the things that I'm most passionate about, and I hope that everybody's been watching and listening can
Mm-hmm.
really understand, especially how Float NLC feels about it, is that the community around you is more important than you could ever understand.
Mm-hmm.
Rely on these people. Get your opinions out to them. Make it to where you're all speaking with a single voice. One person saying that PEV should not be illegal unfortunately won't make an impact. 100 people saying that, now you're starting to talk. 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people, eventually your voices will be heard. But we all need to be on approximately the same page. If we all say PEVs are safe, here's how they're safe, here's what they're doing for us.
Mm-hmm.
I had a disability. I'm now able to ride my EUC effectively because of the conditioning that it gave me. Uh, it allows me to save $100,000 over a span of years on gas, on vehicle costs, on this and that. We have to be united as one people, not one wheel, not EUC, not eSkate, as one community of micromobility in order to make sure that we can keep these sports that we love safe and ready to ride anywhere in the world.
I'm going to ask you this. We are now with a 750 watts power in our one wheels. Do you think we need more a motor bigger, or what do you think? More torque?
I do believe that more torque and more speed is good.
Mm-hmm.
Reason being behind that is that inside of EUCs, there's something built in called a safety margin. Safety margin is an engineering principle that is your failure is at this point right here. Where you're safe to operate is over here. You
Mm-hmm.
can operate in this region as your ratio goes up and down, but when you reach a 1-to-1 with your safety, that's when you're at your breaking point. If you
Okay.
have your safety margin further down the line and hard limit it back here at 90%, you don't have failures anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned the dynamic pushback that you're starting to see on
Mm-hmm.
EUCs, like within the in motion line.
Mm-hmm.
There's some custom firmware out now for Bagode wheels
Mm-hmm.
that allows you to basically never nosedive. You can push your wheel as hard as you can, and because of the programming that they put in it, it'll lean the pedals back, and you
Mm-hmm.
simply aren't able to overpower the wheel anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But that's
understand.
only possible because the motors are larger than what you can handle.
Mm-hmm. And
It's
the good, and I think what is the good thing, like what you are saying, I think when you can program it, like you, if you go downhill, you can change it to a safe position. If you go uphill, you can change to another position. And the future in motion don't give you this option. If
no,
you are going downhill and you're going too fast and you have to brake, that is going to disconnect. If you're going uphill and you try to go more power, you overpower the machine, and
and
that
you
is
see,
so bad.
so where my opinion starts running into it is, for me, I'm taking advantage of that. The average rider maybe won't, but one of my favorite things to do is you'll hit a bonk, you'll hit a drop, you'll hit something into a downslope. So you come in and your wheel is going to be turned off. There's no way that's going to be on because your tail's going to contact and the wheel's going to say, I'm at a steady state, turn the motor off. So
Hmm.
you tail scrape down the entire slope, and then you get the wheel turned back on. It is a fantastic feeling. Going up a hill and you overpower the motor and you go into a nose scrape and you just haul up that hill. Nothing touches that feeling. I love being able to understand what the motor can and cannot do and playing with those feelings. EUC is a little bit more controlled. If the wheel gets overpowered, it simply turns off and it won't operate. It'll fall.
Hmm.
You can have some problems. You also have pedal clipping as an option, which
Lots
anybody
of
that's pedal clip,
plastics. Lots of plastics broken. You
lots of
see.
plastic broken and feelings hurt. Feelings very hurt. Skate, same thing. Because of the AT tires and the urethane wheels only having so much contact patch, you can overcome them. You can do drifts through corners, but it's knowing that you're able to play with these options that really makes it special. I mean, look at car culture, look at
Hmm.
motorcycle culture. Specifically with motorcycles, how they can do all of the freestyle riding where they're doing wheelies and then going into endos and doing flips and things of that nature. We can get there. We just need to keep on trying to push the sport forward and really understanding what the wheels can and cannot do and saying, all right, we understand that. Let's try this. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, I think it's important. I hope that we don't have not so much disconnection in the future, and I think Future Emotion is one of the biggest company that they have money to work, and I hope that the VESC can change, that we can have more safety,
Yes. I,
and
I just personally hope that they pay attention. I hope that they
yes.
see what Vesk is doing and that they realize we are missing a target audience, and that's our bad. Here's what we're going to do to fix it. That's my main request.
Yeah, I think I'm very sad sometimes when we talk so much from Future Emotion because we love so much this machine and we have to talk about company. I have around 300 interviews. I speak with most of the guys who fix boards, and I see how they are so sad that they cannot help the Future Emotion, and they try to contact and reach the Future Emotion to work with them, and they don't have no feedbacks, they don't have nothing. And then you go to the groups and you see the people trying to speak with them, give them ideas, and they don't listen, they don't want, they don't. And now they are in a big problem, and they was with a big problem, like because of this guys in America that tell that one wheel was not safe. That the Future Emotion came to the community and please help us to show that we are not unsafe. That one wheel is perfect. So in this time they come to us, but in the time that we speak and we try to help them fix, and they don't listen to us. And I think that is unfair. When they need us, we are there. When
Yep,
we need them, they forget a little about us, and they forget about the people who can fix it, and they fix it better than Future Emotion.
that's what I'm saying. So there's a perfect analogy for it. I don't know if it's an American analogy or where it came from. You
Hmm.
know how these things go. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And
Yeah.
that's what we did. We from the very beginning with the pluses. What do you think the first EUC with vest control will be on the market? Get back to that. It already exists, and
Oh.
it's interesting. Um, is we can try our hardest to communicate with them, but if they don't want to listen, they want to listen to their engineers. They want to keep it in their community. That is their prerogative. They are more than welcome to do exactly what they want because everybody should remember Future Motion isn't a big multi-million-dollar company. They have made plenty of money. They put products out onto the market that are great,
Ooh.
but it's still not that big of a group of people.
Yeah.
It's not this hundreds of employees working all the time. They might only have like say 50 people working for them. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but they're small, just like the EUC and Eastgate, like Meepo, Kieran.
Hmm.
He used to put out all of these videos, and when he first started and he came out with like the V1, it was him. It
Hmm.
was like a couple dudes. He just had a space that he's renting out of a factory, and he was making these boards on his
Well,
own.
Max, don't forget, till today, we have X-Ray, we have lots of companies, but till today, Meepo is the best service you can get. The guy is. We listened so much from China that China is this and that, and that was the only person till today. Is one of the companies I trust is Meepo, because I see so many guys having problem, and he sent everything to them.
Everything.
And he was
you're
always
having a problem
open.
with the wheel? Here's a new board.
Yeah.
Oh, you're having a problem with your grip tape? Let me swap out your wheels for you. Great, it's perfect. And that's so important. It's the customer service aspect, and that's where Future Motion has really slipped up. I have sent them emails on multiple occasions over different issues, whether it be website functionality issues, problems with my one wheel.
Website is
And
a piece of shit.
they will get back to you, but it's just not what it needs to be.
We have to go to a second company to have a good web that we can see the batteries, that we can see all the things, and they don't want this second companies who has webs to help us. They try to shut them down because they don't want to have it. And I want to have a app that I can see my batteries, if everything okay, if something is wrong. And that's why the Vest now is doing that, because you need it. You need something to see if your machine is working okay, if it's too hot, if it's something that the footpad maybe is not working okay. And
make it a learning experience. Don't make it a Apple consumer experience where you're not able to do anything.
Yeah, he wants to try to do it.
Open and available.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't need to know where the rides are all over the world. If I want to see where they are, I contact them.
Facebook, Instagram, get in the community, please. If anybody watching this is not part of the different One Wheel EUC groups, please join.
Yeah.
Yes, some of the conversations that can be had sometimes are a little bit superfluous and maybe nothing that you want to take part in. But where the real power comes in is the group ride invites, the support that you can get from these individuals, and just the general knowledge and info. Don't feel isolated. If you live out in the middle of Kentucky, if you're isolated somewhere in Wyoming, please get on those groups. You're not alone. There is a whole community waiting to welcome you. And God, and they want to see you. Maybe Future Motion doesn't care about you. Maybe In Motion doesn't care about you. That's fine. The community does. We love to see you. We'd love to have you out.
Yeah, and Future Motion, I have to think, they are what they are today because of the community. And they can sell everything they want.
They came out with the GT because the XR is getting overpowered. They came out with the Pine X because the Pine has horrible range.
Best life.
Ridiculous. Oh, to go back to that question. The world's smallest EUC lives in Portland, Oregon, and uses a cheap Fokker VESC controller. You can pretty much immediately put a VESC controller into most EUCs, and it will work. But you do have to do a lot of DIY work. I don't know when we'll get to the point where it's just a plug and play, but I guarantee you somebody is working on it.
I remember the first time I see an AUC and I see a guy from China riding that, and I was like, what these guys from China are doing? Are they crazy?
What is that?
What is this? That's not never going to happen. Never. That is not going to work. And today I have two here.
Exactly. And same for me. Like when I first saw EUCs, I was like, what's the point? What is this? Why are people doing this? And then I saw people like Mike Leahy's Shibby Time Jump, and I'm like, oh God, I misunderstood what this thing was for. I had no clue. Not a single clue.
Oh my God! So I'm going to make you some questions that for me is important for you to help the community. I think that is some small questions, and let's put it like this. I'm going to be fast. You give answers. What you think is the best tire for street and for off-road that you recommend for the guys who are out there?
Stock ass Vega. You're already on it, baby. You're good to go. Just run with it. You want to get something different? Go get a used tire. Go get a T2 from Hoosier. If you want to be on the hype train, go ahead and get yourself a Enduro. They're all great wheels, but you're already on the best one when you get an XR.
So then I'm going to ask, do we need suspension in one wheel or not?
Suspension in one wheel is a nice to have, but you don't need it.
So then I come to the next question. What is for you the best foot pads for the one wheel?
electric Bigfoot, double density on the back, single density on the front. Get yourself a W concave if you want a little less foot fatigue,
Hmm.
but electric Bigfoot on Instagram will get you hooked up with some of the best pads that you ever had.
When you ride by the Future Emotion, what was the level that you as used? What was the position? Uh,
The level I'm at is on mission. I would
Mission?
occasionally ride in Delirium if I'm racing,
Mm-hmm.
because Delirium is a little bit more stiff. It allows you to lean into the trails just a little bit more. Uh, I'll talk about chair riding too,
Mm-hmm.
because I should have brought my things with me, but I'm actually the number one chair racer in the PNW.
Okay.
Either way, uh, mission for everything, Delirium for when you're racing and you're on a trail.
Mm-hmm. For you, my friend, what do you like more, street or off-road?
For one wheel, I prefer street. For EUC, I prefer off road.
What you prefer more, as when you are in your USC, tricks or going down hills, and uh, what is for you that is more
Tricks.
tricks?
EUCs are designed to take hits like nobody's business. You're going down a little trail and you see a route over to your side and you
Mm-hmm.
don't go over there and bonk it and get in the air. That's a crime. That should be illegal. If you see a side hit like a little berm that you can climb up on and then ride back down, hit it. If you see a kicker that leads into a nice flat landing,
Question about the
hit it
rest
every single time.
was more like the
Um,
complete really to run Tony for the
that's
full.
the thing. It will
Yeah.
take some time to get there. People are working on it. It is in people's mind, but there's a lot that has to be taken into account simply because one wheel is one wheel. There
Can I
is a
can I ask you
minimum.
like this? Do you think, maybe because of him being in China, and don't give nobody's testing the is one wheel? Don't you think that is maybe a mistake that he should
So
send?
I don't believe that he's working in a bubble. I believe that he's having people test out, but he has to keep it a little bit closer to the heart because it's the same thing. He's developing a product and wants it to be something that he can sell.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's for sure. Um, uh, he wants to develop something that he can sell, so he has to send it to people that he can trust. And when
Hmm.
you're working out of China and you don't have necessarily great U.S. connections, European connections,
But Tony has good connections. I know that he has good connection in Europe and in USA.
maybe it's just not the time for him yet. It's
Hmm.
hard to say. He does need to get the wheel out to people, and it does need to be prototyped and tested, just like anything. But hard to say. I'm
I
not
would
that
love
guy.
to. I would love to see good riders having that. Maybe for 10 guys riding, experienced riders to break completely. Try to break,
Oh yeah.
and
So
that way.
and that'll lead me to a fun story. As I said, living in Portland, we have a few different options. Hoyt Street and Metro Board, two extremely great e-skate brands, are out here,
Hmm.
based out of Portland and Vancouver, Washington, and I get to ride with them pretty frequently. We do a event every Thursday called Intro to Speed. There's going to be
Hmm.
one tonight at 7 p.m. And we go out there and we ride. We do time trials, and they'll bring out their prototype boards, which we'll get to experiment on. I'm proud to say that on one of their prototype boards, I completely broke that thing in two. And that's what I love. I love getting to ride on the newest stuff, and I love helping people learn what went wrong with it. It's one of the reasons I became an engineer. My entire MO with my work career is why is that the way it is? How am I going to break it? Why did it break? And how am I going to make sure that it doesn't break again?
Then I'm going to ask you like this: why no safeties?
Why no
Why?
safeties?
Yeah, why not the protections? You're not the
Yeah,
guy. You don't not. You
uh,
are not. You are not the best person
I
to.
know, I know.
Uh,
So what I'll say is I'm getting better about it. I grew up 22
uh,
years of skateboarding experience without a
so,
whole lot of safety protections. And it is something that I'm very aware of that I need to, and I'm getting better about it. I was wearing my helmet. My helmet was on. Thank you. Make that video a little bit bigger. People need to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, blow that all the way up. Let people see that a little bit more.
Oh my god, that is good.
So that one was at Northwest Electric Fest. Jason Messer is in front of me on his GT. I'm on an XR. That is a classic case of I went too fast and I killed
Let me
Jason.
change. Let me change it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I want to be a safety advocate, and I am. Everybody should wear a helmet. Everybody should wear the appropriate pads for the situation.
That
But
that
you
that hurt, my friend.
yeah,
Look,
you
look,
have to be aware that
look
everything that
here.
you're doing, yeah, is you're in control of your own fate. All right, don't do as
Yes.
I do, do as I say.
Yeah, no, but forget about that. I did the same mistake, and everybody. I want to ask is because of this green jump. Do you make this or do you buy it?
Oh, so this is actually a great integrated marketing right here. That's one of my sponsors, Ninja Mountain Bike Performance. They make foldable ramps
Can
that
you
are
send me the
perfect.
link later on for
I
me to put
certainly
it here?
can.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because I
can
want
do
to
that
put it.
easy.
First of all, I want to put it in your life, and I'm interesting because I think that you can put it in three parts, right?
Oh, so we're actually working with them right now. Northwest Electric Fest is proud to have them as a sponsor, and they're going to be sending us out several of the ramps, which are somewhat purpose built for EUC and one wheel. And they are extremely light. That
Mm-hmm.
one that we have in the video, the green one,
Yeah.
is only about 5 pounds, folds up,
Mm-hmm.
and you can wear it on your back.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I was watching this video on the top, and
yes.
it's so easy,
It
and
weighs
it's
absolutely nothing. It folds completely
yeah,
flat. It
yeah.
can go on your back. Every portion of it is made out of
Mm-hmm.
Baltic birch plywood, 8 ply, super
Mm-hmm.
light, super high quality. The color on it is great, and
And you can
it's
take it everywhere.
you can take it everywhere. And we're getting a few different sizes. I went ahead and I sent over the link to
Send me
you if
the
you want
link.
to go take
I'm
a look
going to give
at
to
that.
the guys, and I hope that they sell it maybe to Europe or something like that. Maybe the
Yes,
guys here. We are
let me
always
know.
interested in new stuff, and I think that is. I was from the first moment I see the video. I want to make this question to you: where do you, where from where? Okay,
Oh,
Ninja.
and just to hijack it a little bit, if you are interested in these ramps, Ninja Mountain Bike Performance,
Yeah.
you can use my code
Uh huh.
MVKVIP. M
Okay.
is in Mary, V is in Victor, K is in Kite, VIP.
I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it later on for
Yes, perfect.
everybody to use it. That way, is this one? Yeah. Oh,
Yep,
that
that's the
is
one.
nice. Oh, that is CNC made it. Oh,
CNC, all out
ah.
of Baltic birch plywood, the same thing that they make a lot of high quality furniture out of. Uh, if you come to Northwest Electric Fest, we're going to get to feature that ramp right there. It's going to be more one wheel focused,
Uh
but
huh.
we're also getting the purple one that you'll see later on, as well as a super
Wow.
secret that we're not really allowed to divulge right
Mm-hmm.
now that is going to really change the game.
Yeah,
As
that
you
is very
see,
good.
super portable, extremely easy to set up and take down, incredibly versatile. It's
It's great, huh?
fantastic.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
From the beginning of the interview, I was wanting to ask you where do you get it. I will write them more tomorrow. I'm going
Please
to write
do.
to
These
them,
guys
and
deserve a lot of support. The Ninja
yeah, I'm
company is
going to
based
try
out
to
of.
bring him here too, for them
Yes.
to talk about it.
There's an interesting thing about that. So this is Ninja Mountain Bike, and they are a not a sister, a child company
Mm-hmm.
of Mountain Bike Performance that makes
Mm-hmm.
similar ramps for the European market.
Okay,
These
that
guys
is
are
good.
based out of Klamath Falls, Oregon, so they're local to us.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking to buy a ramp and want better shipping and a few different options, Mountain Bike Performance offer.
For us is good, because I need something that you can carry in your car, and
Yes.
then when I go to we make lots of rides, and sometimes we stop, then we have something to do.
Exactly.
It's
So, and
easy.
as you see in this video, of course, it's a mountain bike and it's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of a different form factor, but
It
he
doesn't
takes
matter,
it, he
the idea.
places it on a random hill, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have a downslope.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can become a perfect EUC hit, one wheel hit, just by putting a ramp in front of it.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's very
fantastic.
nice. I think it's very nice.
Yeah, so
Wow, look at
you
there.
have lots of different options. See what I mean?
Wow.
Ridiculous.
Wow, that
That
you can
that's
expand it. You can expand it all the time.
mhm. That's the kind of jumps that Mike Leahy Shibi time is hitting and getting 15, 20 feet in the air right there.
Yeah, and
It's
if you buy
amazing.
two, you can jump to one place to the other.
Exactly. And so yeah, definitely go give them a look. They do have some parts that are mountain bike exclusive, like their wheelie
I,
helper and their stand.
I
But
think that is fantastic for us to use here,
for
because
sure.
most of the time we have to move from one place to another, and that is easy. Look, you can just put
Yep.
it in your
And as you
bag.
can see, the prices are coming down. My
Uh-huh.
discount code works on top of that. So
Yeah.
please go ahead and use it.
Yeah,
It
that
will
is good.
save you just a little bit more on
So,
shipping.
guys, I'm just going to tell, like always, that is not YouTube. Then is going to that is not a support. They don't pay me nothing. That is just free. I'm very pleased that they have that, just for you guys to know, because
Sure.
sometimes YouTube ask me if I'm winning money, and then that is so
Yeah,
upsetting.
exactly.
Uh,
Also, one thing that I'd like to say is thank you, Quinn and Jan, for being so active in the chat and giving us lots of really great
and
questions
to
to
Ralph and
answer.
to everybody who came here, and I just want to make you two last questions, and I think
Certainly.
that is no. I want to make three questions. First of all, describe me your group for you. What is your group from you? What you have there in your T-shirt for everybody is around the world to know a little more, and how can you describe it in your words?
Yeah. So, in my words, Float NLC is an all inclusive group of driven individuals that wants to evolve the community around us and share the hype, share the stoke, and share the uh, vision that we have for One Wheel. We ride niche PEV vehicles that some people might look at as a little bit goofy, but at the heart of it, we are rad individuals that want to be with others that want the same thing. We want to see others become better at what they do, and we want to share the stoke all around the world. Um, People like Jan are the perfect example. I might not get to meet the dude. He lives over in the United Kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
but he messes with us so hard. We can only appreciate him for that.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think.
People like yourself, Nelson, over in Germany, giving us a little bit of respect and showing that we're like making a difference on a larger scale.
Of
That's
course, you're making a difference.
impossible for us to beat, and that's exactly what we want. We want to show people that One Wheel is more than just racing and cruising around and trying to look sexy and stuff like that. It can be raw, it can be awesome, and it can be something really special.
Come on, my friend. I just want to say, I'm a guy who loves. I'm a community guy. I love to see this stuff. For me,
Exactly.
for me, is the important thing is when I see persons doing this, and then persons doing this.
Exactly.
You understand? That is for me is more than. Is not just because of a race, it's not because of the competition, but is everything in a package. Everything that you're
Exactly.
going to get, people laughing, enjoying, having a great time, different types of PVs, different types of riding. I see that was skate guys there, was guys with chairs, was guys. That doesn't matter. Just having
No.
fun and enjoy it, and kids and guys wearing nice and crazy,
Wait.
and that is
Yeah,
for
thank you,
me.
OW Hard. He's a phenomenal all himself.
Seeing this, my friend, that is amazing.
It's fantastic. It's
That is
it's
more.
beautiful.
That is that we don't need to talk about that. That's why I love to bring these communities here, and that's why I'm making this so long, and trying to meeting new persons, listen to them, learning with them, and having so much fun and making a new friend. And the guys who come here and the people saying we are in Facebook, I think 30 groups
Yep.
live now. We are in Twitter, we are in YouTube, and I think here I don't win no money. I don't put here to win money. I just want us to grow, and maybe in the future we have the possibility to have like a Red Bull or X
Yeah.
Games or
And that's exactly what you talked about with Scott, is that if we could just get the attention of these bigger guys, which we're working on it, we
mhm,
really are. We're trying to get our name out there. We have companies such as Liquid Death.
mhm,
We have grocery stores to local to us like Albertsons that we're getting attention. We
mhm.
just have to keep pushing. This isn't something that's just going to happen. It takes effort and it takes time.
I just want to make two more questions. That is the last ones. What you love to ride more, in the evening or in the day?
I love to ride when the sun is out and shining and I don't have to wear a jacket. If
Okay.
that's in the evening and it's warm outside, I will lose
No.
my mind. I love it.
Do, I make you this question because I want to make the other question. Do you think the PVs they need more better lights?
I'm actually really a terrible person to ask that question. I don't ride with lights. It can be pitch black outside and I don't have my lights on. I am a dangerous individual. Whenever we so the FNR has what we call the third leg, which is a it comes at about 10:30 at night and we'll go and ride a trail. I don't I don't carry a flashlight, man. I don't have my lights on. My vest doesn't have lights on it. I
Cut
I
it, cut it.
just yes, I love riding with lights. We need bigger headlights. Yeah, put them
No,
on.
it's no problem. That is no problem. My friend, I
Uh,
just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for coming. I just want to share something with you guys for you to know what is going to happen in a couple of days. We're going to have more riders here. And if you don't see it, I'm just going to show we're going to have the Electric Dreams. This guy is doing lots of stuff in China and he
love it.
buys himself the machines. He's not making sponsors.
Yep.
You
Owns
have to
every
have
last one of
you
them.
have to have a lot of money, but in China to buy it is then we're going to have this beautiful lady who is
Dawn
going to talk
Champion's
about.
awesome.
Oh, she's rides like she can
She's a
ride.
demon. She's a demon
Yeah.
on a wheel.
And then we're going to have the guy who is talking a lot about the Vesk.
My
Is
man
going
Mexicino. Me and him
is
talk
going
all the time. Love that
is
dude.
going to come here and is going to talk a little more what you talk about the Vest, about the future, about everything.
Yeah,
And I
listen
think
to
that
what
is
he has to say. He's a very
uh,
intelligent dude, and he really helped Vesk get to where it needs to be.
and then the rest, guys, is just interviews of events that is going to happen in Europe, and it's going to be interviews with more ladies. But you can come and see it. That is the next three interviews if you want to come. Don't forget, we're just going to go to end of April. Then in end of April we're going to stop because it's going to start the events, and everybody wants to go to the events,
It's gonna
and
be
I
a little
have to be
busy.
there. Yeah, I'm going to be busy this year. I have five events of one wheel. I have one wheel in Europe. Never happened. Never happened. I'm so happy.
It's great. I'm so glad that we're here now. It's awesome. So
But
just to wrap it up for me, I just have a few things I want to say. First off, Florida NLC, one love. I want to thank all of the guys on the team. Chris Hughes for being the awesome individual he is. He's a maniac. Scott Stringer for really being there for me and pushing me to try a little bit harder. One will Scotty. Jake Durow, the off-camera goat. Uh, Dude is absolutely wild. Matt Mitchell for being the emotional support that we need. Josh for being there as the dad of the group and having that great energy. Love it. Jordan Green for being the technical know-how. And then I like to thank the sponsors. I want to thank Cece with One Protect, Pat with Buckskins, miss you, dude. Jason with Electric Bigfoot, the Ninja Mountain Bike Family, OW Hard AF Max Bowls. You got to stop, man. You're crazy and just everybody that supports us to make the dream come true. Real Life Cricket, uh, Andrew Osterman, Walker Andrews, all the guys that make this community in Portland so special to me. Thank you so much for doing everything that you do. You probably don't think too much of it, but we're really making something special happen here.
no,
And then the
you are
last thing I want
doing.
to say is please, please, you see, we're having all these wonderful events. Get out, go to them. If they're close to you, don't have an excuse. If they're a little bit far away from you, try to find out something to happen. We're making something super special happen. A lot of these are on their third, second, or even first year. It's you the individual that goes that makes it special. It's not the vendors, it's not the racers, it's you. So please, whichever event that you can come out to, come out, support, come camp. Come talk to me if you come to Northwest Electric Fest July 14th through the 17th. I would love to have the conversation with you. I'll teach you anything that you want to know. I want to see you there, and I know Nelson wants to see you too.
I hope to see everybody, and please, lots of videos and photos, please, guys. I love
Always.
to see that. I
Throw
think
it
that is
out
most
there. Take as
important.
many as you can.
Okay, guys, have a good day, good night. Max, thank you so much for coming here, my
Appreciate
friend,
y'all.
and taking 2 hours of your time, helping the community with explanations and maybe helping lots of people who don't understand so much, because there is lots of people out there who don't understand and they need help, and you share your opinion to all of us, and I think that is important for us to learn a
Yes.
little more.
Thank you so
So
much.
everybody's out there, have a good day, a good night. Like always, ride fast, but always be safe.
Right, safe.
Enjoy
And
it
hey,
and have a blast.